I'm Will Moriarty, and this summer we did an 8-week internship at RSM right behind us. We were both audit interns.
And so basically what RSM is it's a global network of tax consulting and auditing services that we provide to middle market companies. We would actually go out to clients and help out with their financial statements and try to advise them with our managers who would supervise us.
So we were assigned both super navigators, and what super navigators are is that they were our help in trying to immerse in the RSM culture, trying to get different seniors and managers to connect with us about certain jobs or certain clients that we go out to, but also like the social scenes such as RSM Social Club. So we got to go to a really fun Red Sox game, and there are a lot of different perks, and we had a blast this summer.
So we're going to take you around our office to show you a little bit about what we do on a daily basis.
So this right here is our cafeteria, right, where we eat lunch, obviously. We're going to show you over here one of the two most important people, Ray.
Freddie and Ray.
Good morning. So
Hi.
this is Ray. He is probably one of the best cooks in the world. He makes our chicken sandwiches and entrees and other things. So Ray, say hello to the camera.
How you doing?
So this is where we can come for lunch.
That's Bobby.
Bobby's
Bobby's
ready today. Bobby, say hi to the camera.
Oh, my
please.
video? Cool.
Yeah.
Good morning.
So this is where we order and eat lunch every day, and there's a salad bar, and it's pretty cool and cheap, and it's nice that we have it right here in the office.
So we are in the big boardroom right now, so we feel pretty important. And this summer we were attached to what's called the Birdies for Love Foundation. And so we had, as interns, we had to team up with some of the seniors and managers who ran different teams and tried to support this great cause.
And so basically what we did was we were split up into three teams, Erin, Phil, and Pat's teams, and we were tasked to kind of come up with ideas in order to fundraise for this over the summer. So some of the ideas that we came up with were a margarita cart, a beer and popcorn cart, and then we also did intern coffee runs from 2 to 3 on Monday through Wednesdays. So this was a way for us to kind of be involved with like the firm's fundraising, which is a big way of how they market their stewardship as a company. And we also did a bake sale last week, which raised a lot of money. We sold Rice Krispie treats and cupcakes, and that was awesome. And it's just a cool way for us to be involved and see how people really like come together to support a great cause.
We also did the RSM Open, the golf tournament, to support the Birdies for Love, and that was a lot of fun because not only we donated to a great cause and did certain activities like the putting contest and longest drive and things like that, but we also as interns got to meet upper management such as partners, such as managers, and first or second year associates. We got to ask them questions, sort of like how is RSM, like what do you think, like is this like a normal thing, and it's really awesome to kind of come together for a good cause, especially a firm of like 700 people. So I think that's really important that they kind of stress that stewardship aspect. So this summer we were audit interns, and what audit, especially for a company like RSM, is working with companies and clients with their financial statements. So we really don't work with the company to try to improve, more along the lines of trying to make sure that they're doing everything by certain regulations. The SEC and the AICPA, they both set out guidelines to kind of help us help the clients stay, and the phrase that everybody uses is, reasonably assured that the financial statements presented fairly. So, obviously there's the big fraud cases and other things like that, but there's also just mistakes and misrepresentation. And what audit tries to do is try to make sure that our clients are putting forth good financial statements that present fairly, the state of the company, state of their statements.
Role as audit interns, we started at the company in June 10th, and basically we had 2 days of orientation, and then we were on the 4th floor. There's this innovation room, and we did a mock audit, which was awesome to kind of get a feel for the caseware, which is the system we use to view and edit the company's binders, which has all their electronic documents and APS spreadsheets. After our 4th of July holiday, we all got split up onto our own schedules.
My first client was a utilities company in Framingham. It was one of RSM's biggest clients, and it was really awesome to kind of start out really big because kind of thrown into the weeds, which some people might find challenging. But I thought it was very helpful, especially with the help of my senior and other associates on the team, to kind of get a feel for what actually going out to a client and auditing financial statements was. Because it's a lot different than in the classroom. You can study in Professor Doran's class about auditing and all the rules and independence and everything like that. But when push comes to shove out in the fields, you got to know the technical aspect, especially the software. And that was one of the big things, was that Excel is a huge part of working with client statements and other things like that to see if every number matches up and everything's kind of connected. And then for my second client, it was an employee benefit plan in Southborough, Massachusetts. And that was really different for me because it was not as much financial statements as much as, working to make sure, 401k contributions, regulations, other things like that. And that was definitely a different experience that I've never had before. And I actually really enjoyed it. My senior was awesome and my manager was great, and they helped me a lot kind of understand what I was doing, and so that I wasn't just like sitting there not doing anything. And I really appreciate that they helped me out.
As for me, my first client in mid-July was actually in the office, which was kind of cool because I still got to come here and interact with some of the interns that I had been with for a month before. And I loved my senior. She was really helpful, and I did a little bit of auditing for cash, which was cool, and actually matching the cash confirms with the trial balance and making sure the numbers lined up. And then my second client was in Carlisle, Massachusetts, and I loved my senior and the associate on that as well. It was nice to kind of actually get out of the office on my first engagement. Worked with the accounts payable testing, making the selections, and I actually worked closely with the accountant there on the client, the internal accountant for the client. So that was cool to actually email her directly and have a little more leadership in that role on that client. And we also, as interns, get feedback from our mentors, which is awesome, so we can kind of see what we need to improve on and keep working towards. This is the 4th floor where we spent a lot of our time in the beginning of our internship, and there's a game room, there's snacks, a lot of places to sit and lounge if you have free time, especially as interns. This was kind of where we hung out for the first month and a half of our internship.
So for RSM, their future goals is being the first choice advisor for the middle market. And so what that means is that every middle market client that we have, we want to be their first choice and their only choice, because we want to stand out in the competition. We are one of the 5th or 6th largest firm, but we still cater to the middle market because we have people and characteristics and personalities that can help middle markets and small businesses thrive.
And so RSM's mission statement as a whole across their network is to deliver the power of being understood to colleagues, the community, and clients specifically. So this just means to really build those client relationships and leave a long-lasting impression on the people that we interact with. So a few of my key takeaways from my 8 weeks at RSM in the Boston office is definitely that it's okay to ask a lot of questions when you're first starting out, or even as a first-year associate in the future. That's just how you learn, and they on the team expect you to ask a lot of questions, and it honestly shows that you're more engaged and trying to absorb the material than just sitting there and waiting for them to tell you what the next step to do is. It shows that you're assertive and that you really want to be there. And the other thing is to be flexible, because for sure on my second client, I was originally scheduled to be in New Bedford on an employee benefit plan, and then I checked my schedule. I saw that it was in Carlisle on a totally different client, so I had to be proactive and email the senior, and just kind of staying on top of that and being flexible with what the company, where they need you to go is important.
First one is actually, especially as an intern, and then the first couple years in any sort of job that you do, don't be afraid to take initiative. Don't be afraid to try and do something a little extra, or try and do something that you're not comfortable with. Which kind of segues into my second takeaway, is don't be afraid to make the mistakes. Because I think a lot of this job, especially as auditors, is that we work a lot with computers, and we work a lot with files and other things like that. And making mistakes it just happens. In any other job, it totally happens, and it's totally okay. You don't have to take it personally, the fact that you moved a file the wrong way, or recalculated something wrong, And I think taking initiative and not being afraid to make a mistake while you're taking that initiative is probably 2 of the biggest things I took for this internship.
My name is Eric Robinson, and I graduated from St. Michael's College in 2015, and I've been working at RSM since the fall of 2015. I've been in the audit practice for almost 4 years now.
So, Eric, can you just describe a little bit of your transition from graduating from St. Mike's and working as a full-time associate at RSM?
Yeah, I think RSM does a very good job about their onboard training and getting people acclimated to not only the culture but just the technical skills you need as well. Part of the things that made my transition easier coming from St. Michael's College, the accounting department at St. Michael's College offers many courses as well as the business department as a whole to help get you ready for both the professional aspect and the technical skills you need to succeed as an auditor at RSM or just a professional in general. So some of the courses I took at St. Michael's College helped me learn to be a better public speaker and to be able to be a good team member, to help teach people below me, to help them learn, as well as to communicate with my superiors to make sure everything's going smoothly and people are all on the same page. So I think the St. Michael's College helped me a lot with honing in my professional skills as well as getting the general knowledge I needed to be successful when I started and to not make that transition too difficult.
My name is Brady Earl, graduated St. Mike's 2012. I've been at RSM for almost 7 years now, 7 busy seasons. I'm an audit manager, work everywhere, industrial products, consumer products. Those are my 2 main focuses. Everything from startups to $500 million companies, including public companies.
Thanks. First of all, thank you for helping us interview. So our main question, and we ask another Eric Robinson, who is also a St. Mike's grad, the same thing. Kind of talk about your transition from St. Mike's into real accounting and auditing world, and also like a skill that you used from St. Mike's to maybe help you along the way.
Sure. So the transition was interesting as I graduated, and then literally the next day moved down to Boston, went to grad school. I think I had like a week off, so I was back into the school grind right away, the work grind. So then when I started at RSM, it was right after grad school. So I was just still had that whole work ethic grind going, which was good because I started in January, which, as you know, is busy season. So St. Mike's kind of prepared me for that, and Doyon gives a lot of homework. Shout out to Doyon. It was good because that prepared me for the work, the hours that you put in public accounting, so that was helpful. A lot of team environments at St. Mike's, in the classroom, on the athletic fields, which audit is obviously, it's all team based, so that was also helpful.